June 1987. I don't know what the hell I was doing in June 1987. I was in California protecting our country at Vandenberg Air Force Base. I only read 3 books that month, so I assume it was June in California. I was out in the sun. I was dating. I was going to the beach. I don't know. I can't remember anything specific. So we'll just get to the 3 books that I read in June of 1987. Number 1 was Red Diamond Private Eye by Mark Schorr, Schorr. So however you pronounce that. This is an homage, a pastiche of private detective novels. The first in a series. The main character is, I have to look at my notes, Simon Joffe, who's a cab driver, and he's married, got a couple kids that don't really need him, and one day his wife sells his prized collection of mystery magazines, mystery books, vintage, noir, private detective stuff, and he is upset by that, and he leaves, and he witnesses a murder. That might be, there's a trauma. That might be the trauma, the witnessing of a murder. But anyway, he suffers a trauma, and he believes now that he's Richard Diamond, Private Eye, his favorite fictional detective, and he gets into all sorts of private eye type scrapes. And that's it, basically. And it's the first book in a series of 3. I have not looked ahead in my list, so I don't remember if I read any of the other ones. I just sort of remember that as much as I generally like this kind of thing, I wasn't that impressed with it. I think it was fine. I don't know. That's all I got for you right there. So book number 2. I'm being a little cavalier in this video, aren't I? Book number 2 is The Widening Gyre. Is that how you say that? Gyre. I've never known how to pronounce that properly. Anyway, The Widening Gyre by Robert B. Parker. Here we go. I have a copy of this. I have mentioned in past videos when talking about Robert B. Parker books that I'm looking for the same editions for all my Robert B. Parkers, and here it is. This is the one I'm looking for. I was going to say I don't know why, but I do know why, because these were the copies I originally read. So I have, here we go. You get to watch me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 books with these covers. I'm missing quite a few. But anyway, The Widening Gyre, I'm just going to keep saying it that way. I'm going to read this to you because I love the way this is written. I was kind of hoping that it would be different on Amazon, that they would have a different description so I could compare them. But they basically just had a truncated version of this. But this is what it says on the back of the book. The adoring wife of Senate candidate Meade Alexander had a smile as sweet as candy and dotted her eyes with little hearts. A blonde beauty, she was the perfect mate for an ambitious politician, but she had a little problem with sex and drugs, a problem someone had managed to put on videotape. The big boys figured a little blackmail would put her husband out of the race until Spencer hopped aboard Alexander's bandwagon. Now only his fists and his .38 stood between the mob's muscle men and the way to Washington. But getting back the tape of the lady's X-rated indiscretion was slated to make his ride on the campaign trail a non-stop express to trouble that was deep, wide, and deadly. I just love that kind of hard-boiled, old-fashioned kind of description on there. I'm surprised it didn't say dame somewhere. That dame was trouble. I'm going to take a quick look here. The original copyright is not 1928. That's something else. 1983. So, yeah. Definitely, old... Well, I was going to say old-fashioned, but, that is quite a while ago. Anyway, it's Spencer. It's great. it's got twists and turns, and the hard boiled detective with the heart of gold who likes to cook for his lady friend, and yeah, it's good stuff, man. I'll recommend any of these, especially the older ones. It's been a while since I've read them. Don't know how they'll age. I know Spencer likes to, these are all in first person, so Spencer likes to describe what he's wearing. And you go back and read those old ones from the late 70s, early 80s, and yeah, the fashions don't necessarily hold up. But yeah, love these books. Absolutely love them. We're going to come across these again and again on this list. Let's toss that aside. And the third and final book that I read in June of 1987 was The Crystal Cave by Mary Stewart. And this is the first in a trilogy about the Arthurian legend. This book is basically Merlin's story. It's first person, told by Merlin, and he, excuse me, it's from when he's a young man to, or maybe even a kid, to young adulthood. I think it's before Arthur shows up in his life. So it's sort of an autobiographical story of Merlin. This is a time when I was getting into the Arthurian legend. I was looking at one of the reviews of this book. It was either on Amazon or Goodreads, and someone said, I read this when I was such and such an age. That's when I got into the Arthurian story, just as everybody does at some point in their life. And I'm not sure that that's completely true, but it is probably for readers, especially any readers of fantasy. I could be completely wrong, but it just feels like it's something that people are going to read at some point. So I think we're going to come across, as we go through this list, a few Arthurian books. I liked this. I believe I read the entire trilogy. I'm almost certain. We'll find out together. 87. I'm not sure this is when I read Mage by Matt Wagner. I may have to review that or do a special video about it. Because it's a fantastic comic book that's a modern take on King Arthur. And I know when I started reading that, I really started digging into some of the other Arthurian books, but this seems kind of early, so I'm not quite sure. Rambling. That's what I do best. Anyway, that's it. 3 books in June of 87. Red Diamond Private Eye. The Widening Gyre. That's what I'm saying. 2 thumbs up. Fantastic. The Crystal Cave. Good fantasy, especially if you're into the Arthurian legend, want to read about Merlin. It's good stuff. Now, I have peeked ahead to July, and there's something very, very special coming up in July. It was a turning point in my life for reading. I'm teasing. I'm just teasing. So you're going to come in next week and watch that video, because it's going to be a doozy. That's all I've got. I'm not going to ramble anymore, take up any more of your time. Excuse me. And if you have any comments, questions, or corrections, leave them in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Do I need to leave extra time at the end of these videos for the little pop-ups with the link and the subscribe thing? I don't know. I'm kind of rambling now because this is when that's going to be up there. I'm not even sure how long it stays up, and I don't want you to click on one of those and miss, some wonderful wisdom that I might pass along. I've thought about, getting some papers and just kind of sitting here at the end and, like a newscaster, just straightening out my papers, acting like I'm talking to somebody off on the side over there. Anyway, okay, so I've rambled enough. I'm almost certain now you've had time to click on those. And that's it. So until next time, read more books.